What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on in the NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Steven Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, y'all, tonight's topic. Twitter's going crazy about the wide receiver position here in Philadelphia and what the correct moves are. So I want to give some clarifying statements on what I think the Eagles should do at this position. I want to cover a couple of things that some of the major content creators within our community have said and just kind of provide a little bit more insight to those things. So, to begin with, as I see the needs at wide receiver, how would I define it? To speak clearly, I think the Philadelphia Eagles need a split-end, boundary-side, X-aligned wide receiver. What I'm saying is the guy that can play on the boundary side, the short end of the field, can play in much closer, tightly contested windows, has a really, really strong, hands, has a good catch radius. Normally you can see this portrayed in their contested catch rate, or at the very minimum. I mean, there's more than one way to get to a result. At the very minimum, this player is good enough against man press to beat man press and create separation at the top of route stems, giving him enough room to operate whether or not, he's got the wingspan and the strong hands or not. My opinion, that is the foremost thing or the utmost thing the Philadelphia Eagles must get out of whoever they bring in here as a wide receiver. So with that in mind, let me go into a little bit more depth about this position and what I see going on. So I want to shout out my guy, Lord Brunson. I always refer to him as LB. If you guys always wonder, who is LB? Why does Gay always say LB? I'm talking about Lord Brunson, guys. So LB had a video that came out, it was probably a week or so ago, guys, where he was talking about Mike Williams. And he said he really likes Mike Williams, the player, and he has no doubt Mike Williams would improve the Philadelphia Eagles drastically at the wide receiver position. But he did say, if I was going to nitpick it, one of the things I would talk about is, if we're talking about a split-end boundary side wide receivers, I think LB and I are on the same page there. He's saying he would like to see a guy that's probably more so used on the intermediate and short route concepts. So the route concepts you would see here are guys that do a lot of slant routes, dig routes, out routes, things like that, guys. Comeback and curls and hitches, over routes, things like that. Those things that you'll see between, let's just say, 7 yards and about 15 yards, 14 yards or so, right? Those route combinations, that's the kind of receiver he's looking for. And he said, look, Mike Williams is a great player, but he's more so known for the things he does up and over the top of defenses on, that 20-yard radius, that huge catch radius he has and things that he can do. I think he's pretty good at that, but I do think LB, if you go back to 2019, you look at, I think it's Our Lords has it out there. I'll try to post it if I can, but in 2019, you can see the way they broke down each route concept. And, yes, Mike Williams ranks on a few of them, but I definitely get LB's point about that. I still would prefer Mike Williams, I'm not going to lie, guys. But I definitely got LB's point. So recently, about a day or so ago, Philly 500 put out a really interesting video about Christian Kirk, wide receiver from Arizona. And I wanted to touch upon what he was saying there, which is he's viewing it from the aspects of, I would rather see us try to develop Devontae Smith, who he thinks is going to be a clear-cut number one wide receiver in this league, top 10 kind of guy. And then, Quez Watkins, this guy that he believes has tremendous potential. I do too. You guys know I made a video talking about how Quez Watkins was beating man press coverage. Definitely. I mean, I kind of liked what he was going with here. Like, if you get a Christian Kirk, you put him in the slot, he gives you some explosive playability. He gives you the ability to still play those other two guys on the outside and continue their development and all that kind of stuff. But I want to provide some context because I do think it was a sneaky good idea by Philly 500. And I want to point out some of the things that I know about Christian Kirk that would help strengthen this, because we got to look past the just 1, 2, and 3 guys that we hear named, right? You got to go deep in this analysis to get a feel for where the market might lie, because we don't even know who's going to really be a free agent by the time we get around to it, guys. There's still time for teams to re-sign their guys. Versus man press, Christian Kirk, okay? 14 catches on 22 passing attempts, guys. 228 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 137.9 rating. That was the second highest rating I saw versus man press versus all these guys I'm going to talk about. All the guys I analyzed, he had the second highest mark who's available currently through free agency, okay? In addition to that, we talk about the slot and getting explosive plays for the slot. So I wanted to filter and I wanted to see plays over 20 yards. Who are the receivers and what was their production? Christian Kirk has 16 receptions for 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, over 20 yards in the 2021 season. I honestly think that was a sneaky good suggestion by Philly 500. It's probably not where I would go first, but as a backup plan, Christian Kirk, I like that a lot. He's a guy that beats man press, and he's a guy that gives you some kind of, ability in terms of getting deep, getting that explosive play rate kind of, situation from him. I definitely think it was a really, really good suggestion. Some other things I would like to bring up is if you look at something like DVOA. DVOA stands for, kind of defensive value over average, right? So it's skewing who you play by the level of competition and then giving ratings, all right? When you look at DVOA, he had a 23% marker, which ranked 8th among all wide receivers. Pretty good there, guys. And then you looked at DYAR, so defense yards above, expectations, if you will. So you're talking about, yards that you got above the expectations for the defense you played. He ranked actually 9th with 284 yards. I think this is a sneaky good pick, and cherry on top, the thing that I don't think has been discussed is that he's got a connection back to the coaching staff. If you guys remember, Kirk was one of those guys who spoke up about Aaron Moorhead when we hired him a couple of years ago, because Aaron Moorhead was Kirk's coach back at Texas A&M in college. So, yeah, that's a sneaky good suggestion. But my video is not about, kind of doubling down on what 500 said. I mean, just giving him credit because it was a good suggestion. I got one more player I want to talk to everybody about tonight. Green Bay Packers wide receiver Alan Lazard. Sneaky, sneaky good football player that I think is going unnoticed, right? Here's the first thing I want to say. There's no way in the world that they're going to be able to settle all these issues with Aaron Rodgers, still get Devontae Adams under contract, Marquez Valdez-Scantling under contract, and Alan Lazard. Somebody's getting let go here. That's a no doubt to me. I think somebody's absolutely going to get let go here. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling is a good candidate as well, but I think Alan Lazard is the one that intrigues me the most from the numbers standpoint of what he can do. So to begin with, let's talk about his numbers versus man coverage. 18 receptions on 23 attempts, guys, for 221 yards, 5 tutties, 5 touchdowns, guys, 146.3 rating, highest guy I saw. The highest guy I saw that's hitting the market versus man press. He can beat man press, and he's got the body size. He's got the type, and he needs the ability and the targets coming to a new team, which I do think Philadelphia could give him. He's not going to have Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback, though. That's something that has to be taken into consideration. The next thing I wanted to see was, okay, how much of his plays are just deep down the field? Well, if you look deep down the field, even with his numbers, it's half what Christian Kirk's is, which tells me he's making plays in the mid and short developing area. So on the season, he has 8 receptions for 233 yards. Those are big numbers, no doubt. 3 touchdowns, 3 tutties over 20 yards, guys. I looked at DVOA. I went to see where his DVOA ranked. It was 24.8% DVOA, so adjusted for competition, which ranked 6th among all wide receivers. And then his DYAR, so yards above expectations, if you will, filtered by the defense, guys. He had 187 yards, which came in at 21st. In my opinion, Alan Lazard is a wide receiver who is under the radar, who I would love to grab here. And let me get this straight, guys. I'm not saying these should be primary targets in Christian Kirk and Alan Lazard, but you got to know where you can go to in terms of where you can snatch a guy who might be under the radar, who might be way better than people think, and just needs a little bit more of an opportunity. Hey, man, it's hard to get opportunities when you got guys like Devontae Adams getting over 100 receptions, not alone targets, guys. So I think Alan Lazard's a guy that might shock a lot of people if he gets the opportunity to play. Now, what I will say is, look, OBJ, defenses have to, they have to game plan for him. Of course you'd want OBJ. Allen Robinson, same thing. He gives you the contested catch rate, the big wingspan, the boundary side, the side. He gives all that stuff. Defense has got a plan for him. I'm not saying that those guys should take a backseat to Alan Lazard or Christian Kirk, guys. I would even say a guy like Mike Williams. Mike Williams would be elevated above these guys. But we can't count that we're going to get any of those type of players, guys. We can't sit here and say in good faith, like, oh, lock it up. We're definitely getting these type of players. We don't know that. In my opinion, this is why you have to go deep. And I got to tell you, I like Alan Lazard. All right, y'all, leave your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. I appreciate y'all tuning in one last time. Remember, the free drawing for the Sixers t-shirt ends tonight. I'm going to link the video right here so you guys can go ahead and actually get in on the video. Don't miss that opportunity, guys. Watch this video. Make sure you're subbed up to my channel. Make sure you're subbed up to Ultra Games channel. Like the video. Leave a comment down in the comment section of that video, and you'll be entered in for a drawing. You got to get in by midnight tonight, guys. You'll be entered in for a drawing to win that Sixers shirt. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out here. Thank you all so much for watching, man. Catch y'all in the next video.